Hello everybody, good evening. So we'll start today with the May 2022 current affairs, and here comes the first question. Firstly we'll see from the economics side, fine, economics, and then we'll further move to the subject wise. So let us first start with, without wasting time, the first question that is related to the foreign direct investment. Fine, it was quite in news, it is always there in the news. So foreign direct investment sometimes become quite important. So please read the question and try to answer, and don't take more than a minute. Be quick. Fine. So what should be the answer quickly? What should be the answer? Last lecture आप खत्म करते हो, तुसी आए नहीं. So first question, we are covering the May 2022, April we have done. So here comes the first from economics. Fine. So first question is, आप issue तो नहीं कोई, ठीक है, otherwise आप इधर आ जाइए, because थोड़ा हो सकता है clear ना visible हो. So please read and try to answer quickly, don't take more than a minute. Fine, these are easy ones. Yes, so what should be the answer quickly? What should be the answer? Foreign direct investment. What should be the answer? Be a little quick. D. Yeah. Foreign direct investment, we have two types, like generally like greenfield and brownfield. Like greenfield, starting a project with this from scratch. In brownfield, just related to mergers, acquisitions. Fine, already there you just buy certain certain part of the stocks of the other country, another nation, and then you further invest. Fine. So this is from scratch. So this is a foreign entity setting up an educational institution in India. This is under greenfield. Fine, because altogether setting up an institute. Fine. Let us move to the second. Which one of the following does not influence quantity demanded for a good? Basic demand supply. This is related to the basic demand supply. Be little quick, please. Which one of the following does not influence quantity demanded of or for a good? Yes, what do you think? Okay, first we need to be very much aware of the substitute goods, complementary goods. Goods own price indeed influences the price. Then price of substitute, like we take the example of tea and coffee. When the prices of tea going up, then of course you like to shift to, but otherwise, I mean the other way around, coffee price is going down, so up, so you like to shift to tea rather, because in relative terms of coffee would be dearer than tea. Then price of complementary goods, for example complements like car and petrol, जिनका एक साथ ही काम हो सकता है, एक के बिना दूसरा किसी काम का नहीं. कार एंड पेट्रोल, अगर पेट्रोल नहीं है सो ऑफ कोर्स कार की कोई यूटिलिटी नहीं है. फाइन, प्रोवाइडेड कि वो व्हीकल जो है वो गैस अलग लाइक ईवी ना हो या कोई और ना हो, एक्सेप्शंस आर देयर. Then price of input, yes, input into production of the good, this would be the answer, because these all three going to somewhere get influenced by the quantity demand for a particular good. Fine, because here if you are if petrol becomes, not generally petrol but car becomes dearer, महंगा हो जाता है, so first you will start, अगर कार की purchasing कम है मार्केट में, so of course पेट्रोल की डिमांड भी आपकी कम होगी. Not influence quantity demand for a good. Price of input into production of the good. We are not, as a consumer, we are not bothered about the inputs per se, but we are concerned with the final price of the good. Fine, or whether alternatives available with us or not. Fine, because ultimately we are concerned with the final product. Fine, so that's why D is the answer. A, B, C cannot be the answer. Fine. Core inflation does not indicate a price rise in which of these commodities? Yes. This is easier one, core inflation. Not, please don't skip these words, not only. What do you think? What should be the answer? Yes. Yes. core inflation does not indicate price rise in which of these commodities. For this, we need to first of all be clear with what exactly the core inflation. So core inflation is your headline minus volatile factors. Headline inflation minus the volatile factors like food and fuel. Food and fuel. Fine. So this is core. So food and fuel, like जो भी volatile factors होंगे आपके, probably we include this food and fuel component. ठीक है. So food is here and hydrocarbon fuel is here. Fine. So the answer would be 2 and 3. Fine. No, we are not concerned with consumer goods. That is a different category of goods. Consumer goods, final goods, intermediate goods, that's altogether different thing. In monetary terms, we just talk about the volatile factors, and volatile variables are basically food and fuel. Because fuel के prices आपके suddenly कम ज़्यादा होते रहते हैं, and similarly food के, because of seasonal trends, because of XYZ, I mean supply constraints, demand issues. So of course we include in this headline inflation minus volatile factor, that is food and fuel, then we get the core. Fine. Okay, depreciation. Yes, Indian rupee has depreciated in somewhere hovering around 80 rupees per dollar. I think 80 plus, 81 somewhere. So depreciation question becomes important for the exam. Please read. Negatively impact. Why so? Firstly, we need to be clear about depreciation. What exactly is the depreciation? So what is depreciation? Can you give an example how we can elaborate? So it in simple terms, like if $1 is equal to 70 today, and tomorrow it becomes somewhere around $1 equal to 80. So of course our rupee has depreciated. Fine, because now with the equivalent $1 we are going to pay more. Fine, means जो foreign nation के importers है, they can purchase more number of goods, because earlier they had to pay just 70 rupees in India, but now they can buy the good worth 80, means they can buy the good worth 10 rupees more. Fine, so somewhere the value of this rupee has depreciated, and this is what the general trend nowadays, since COVID, if you see somewhere our rupee is somewhere hovering around 81 point something. So this is the general. So इसमें क्या? So firstly, after having clarity about the depreciation, now we need to focus on what exactly, I mean, in what situations we need dollars, and in what situation the other party needs rupees, because this is exchange between rupee and dollar. Fine. So this is a simple thing, that if you are importing something from foreign nations, of course we need dollars to make payment in. Fine. If foreigners like visiting India, they would like to have rupee in exchange, because if somebody is coming to India for tourism purpose or anything, they need to exchange their dollars with the rupee, because they can only deal with rupees in India. Fine. So this is how the things going on. So foreign education, suppose if we are opting for foreign education as an Indian, of course we need dollar. Fine. Crude import, again we need dollars to make payment into. Then foreign travel, again we need dollars. NRI sending money back home. NRI sending money back home, they do not need dollars, because here they are coming to exchange their dollars with rupee. Fine. So this cannot be the. Yes, investment abroad, of course, if you are making investment abroad, you need to exchange your rupees worth equivalent of dollar, whatever is the exchange rate. So that's why the answer would be not 4, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 5. Fine. Okay, FCRA. No, this is FCA, foreign currency assets. Foreign exchange reserves. Again, I mean, during Corona pandemic, we have this build up on our reserves and became the 6th largest nation in the world in terms of reserves, foreign reserves we have. So please read and try to be as quick as possible. Yes, regarding India's foreign exchange. What should be the answer? What should be the answer? Remember, in terms of exchange, whenever we talk about exchange, so the highest component of this, this highest component of our foreign exchange reserves is composed of first foreign currency assets, then we have gold reserves, gold stock or reserves, then we have like currency of foreign nations. This is a foreign currency asset, that is the same thing, like we have dollar, pounds, yen and all, fine. Then gold, and finally at the end we have SDRs. These are the major ones. There could be one or two like our reserve position with the IMF as well, tranche position. Then this is out, but FCA is the major part. Like if we have $600 billion, then out of that you will see that more than $300+ billion we are having foreign currency asset. Then only we can say foreign exchange reserve, because we have more of foreign currency assets, fine, like pound, sterling and all, dollars. Second is the foreign currency asset also include the effect of appreciation or depreciation of euro, pound and yen. Of course, capital outflow by foreign portfolio investors does not. Now here I said even in the last class that we need to ponder over such words, especially only, not, because these are the tricks generally. So not have any effect on India's foreign exchange reserves. But if we are, even if we read the newspapers, so during pandemic or even post that, you will see that large amount of FPIs had been this sold out in India, fine, and they prefer to invest in US. So of course this would in fact will have an effect on India's forex reserves, because when the foreigners are getting back to their domestic nations, of course they will seek more of dollars. So ultimately our foreign currency asset is going to decrease or decline, fine. So that's why the answer would be correct. So which would be correct? That is 1 and 2. The foreign currency assets also include the effect of appreciation or depreciation of euro, pound and yen held in the reserves. Yes. So the answer is 1 and 2. Fine. Next question related to small saving schemes. Okay. It is related to national small saving schemes. Small saving schemes. Let me enlarge it. Okay. What should be the correct answer? When we have technical question before us, if you have no idea, please try to focus on especially the technical keywords in the question, because there can be something wrong in those technical, especially the part of your sentence, right? 1 and 2. Okay. Okay. The answer is 1 only. Why so? I will answer. First is national social saving was established within the consolidated fund. No, it was established in the public accounts of India. Fine. And secondly, in the last 5 years, the central government reliance on small saving schemes for financing its deficit has been decreasing. No, it is rather increasing. As I said, this doesn't form the part of consolidated fund of India. This rather forms the part of PCA, public accounts of this India. So in terms of PCA, even if government is borrowing more of or spending more of funds from NSS, then of course it is not going to directly add to the fiscal deficit, and that's why this is one of the routes where government tries to garner more of NSS and rather use that fund for capex purpose or revenue purpose, fine, expenditure purpose, because this is not going directly to add to the fiscal deficit, because here the borrowing or deposit, it doesn't come from the consolidated fund of India, rather public accounts of India, which itself is a liability for the government of India, fine, and this is a tenure of last 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. So that's why, I mean, more the tenure, more the flexibility with the banks or the government to use that fund. Fine. Okay. FCRA, this was quite in news. Please read. There are certain keywords in the question, like I said earlier. There are certain, I mean, outrightly you see the option is talking about, you know, either could have negative connotation, or outrightly you'll see that this option might seems to be little odd with respect to the question. So what should be the answer? Even if you have a little idea about this, I mean, this can be easily solved, because 1 and D. Yes. No, the answer is not D, because we have issue with this B. It's not any of the public sector banks, rather only SBI, and that too with the headquarter or the branch at Delhi, not anywhere in India.
Okay, only SBI is
yes, and that too in Delhi only. Then it would be easy for the government to track and all. Fine. Nowhere in India, only and only in Delhi, and that too at the SBI headquarter or branch in Delhi. Fine. Not any other place across the India. So this was, I mean, the minor issue. Next is next is very important. I mean, again, this was in news, a debatable thing. Okay. So prohibits the receipt of foreign funds by. It is about prohibiting. Who cannot, you know, take funds through this route? Who among, I mean, who among them? What should be the answer? Yes, be little quick, we have long way to go. B, 1, 3, 4. Yes. Why not 2? No, media broadcast companies. It doesn't prohibit media broadcast companies. I mean, government is having issue with like BBC, then how come even, I mean, there are issues with the foreign media houses. So how come it's possible that it won't prohibit? Then they do anything whatever they want in India. Fine. Fine. So remember, the it prohibits basically the candidates for general elections, because then it would be a kind of interference in the, you know, the democratic setup in India. Then of course media broadcast, that very much, you know, because again, you know, we are all aware of the role of media today, you know, the partial role. Then government servants, of course, conflict of interest, or it could be another channel for corruption. And then cultural and religious programs. In fact, this has not been prohibited, but this is quite surprised why it has not been prohibited. So answer would be 1, 3 and 4 only. Prohibits. There are other, I mean, this entity which has been prohibited, like we have journalists or the newspapers, media of course, then we have judges, government servants, alongside that members of, I mean, the MPs, MLAs, even political parties. Fine. And even the office bearers or the organizations of the, any organization which has an, you know, nature of or which is involved in political activities, because ultimately it would be kind of hand and glove with the another nation, you know, which won't be, you know, which would be against the sovereignty of our country itself. Fine. So that's why, but this indeed, I mean, allows certain bodies like any entity or person can receive foreign funds as long as it has definite cultural, economic, educational, religious or social program. Fine. But again, it's a point of debate. Like in religious things, we have seen many times the thing can be, you know, either side, because those things could be, you know, those funds could be used for certain other kind of activities, and we have time and again have such kind of issues. Fine. But so far act is concerned, this is the answer. Okay, BOP. Yes, what should be the correct answer? It is related to the capital account. Generally we have two types of account under BOP, that is current and capital. So what should be the answer under capital? C 1 and 2 foreign portfolio investment, 2 is external commercial borrowings, fine. Okay, 1 and 2. I mean short term credit, again a kind of borrowing, fine. So that's why generally in current account we have visible and invisible. Like visible covers the goods, basically merchandise, exports and imports. Then under current I am talking about, like let me explain. Under current account we have this I said merchandise, or you can say the goods and services or invisibles, or we can even say it visible and invisible services, fine. So these are the core, and plus some like transfers, unilateral transfer, like an like an NRI making some transfer to Indian parents or relatives. Alongside that, in capital account we have lots of items, like especially the items which are of capital nature. For example, FPI, FDI, foreign portfolio, foreign direct. Then we have banking capital, then we have short term capital as well, then external assistance like any other countries assisting India, then ECBs, external commercial borrowings, like generally made by the commercial enterprises outside India, fine. So these are mainly the items. So short term credit is there. Generally this is not the part of capital account, rather this is a part of your current account, fine. So that's why the answer would be 1, 2 and 4, this. Okay, wholesale price index in decreasing order. Every other day you will see, I mean every month, not day, you will see the WPI and CPI news, because every month generally NSO comes with the data for the WPI and this not NSO, for WPI rather Ministry of this Commerce probably. Okay, so what should be the answer? In decreasing order, it's about weight. Even making guess seems here difficult, because there would be confusion in either of the two options, either A, B and C, D.
I think A is
3 to 1. Okay. Yeah, the correct option is A only, because weights we have like manufactured products approximately 64, primary articles somewhere around 22, and whatever left is around 14 or 30, 13 somewhere, 13 point something. So we have this fuel and this, fine. So in decreasing order, so we have answer is 3 to 1. Okay. So the role of RBI. Always focus on the statement which seems to be extreme. No. Like all times, like only, always. These are the keywords where we need to focus. What should be the answer? Raising with one only, because price of vegetables at all times is not possible. We see sometimes tomato up, sometimes potato up, sometimes onion up, like. So that is because of the seasonality, seasonal trends of demand supply. So it is not possible at all times to contain the rise in prices of especially of the vegetables, fine. So that's why the correct option would be 1 second. RBI has little ability to control food and fuel prices, which together control this consumer. Food and fuel, of course, food and fuel are basically the volatile factors, so that's why RBI end up with, this. Fine. So the correct is A only. We have already discussed about volatile factor, food and fuel. So of course this would be correct one. Next is can lead to weakening of Indian rupee. Again, it's a kind of depreciation. Weakening of Indian rupee is depreciation in other sense. It's quite easy. Try to now relate with the depreciation, because weakening of Indian rupee is in another term for this is depreciation, basically what we have just discussed. Weakening of Indian rupee. If it is strengthening, we say it appreciating.
I think all of these.
Yes, all of this, because like if we have widening trade deficit, it means your import is more than export. Again, means you need you need more of dollars to make payments for the imports, and in that sense, of course, you need more dollars, which will more the demand. Just demand price, जिस चीज़ की demand ज़्यादा होती है वो महंगा होता है, simple सी बात है. So of course this is going to weaken or depreciate the value of rupee in the international foreign exchange market. Then foreign investor pulling out funds like FPI. In the previous question we have discussed, like FPI, for the example, foreign portfolio investor pulling out this stock or the amount out of India. So of course they would need more of the dollars to get back to their domestic nation and invest there. Rapid increase of crude oil prices. Of course, if rapid increase means we have more of import bills. Our import bills increasing. So of course all the above. Any idea about Kuznets theory? This is easier one, provided we have listened somewhere or any idea. No idea. It is related to inequality. Kuznets basically an economist who talks about the inverted U shape. That is, inequalities initially increases, then after a time period it gets, yes. So he talked about the inverted U shape, not this one, but rather the opposite one. Fine. So this shows basically the inequality, that initially inequality increases, but after some time, like we are a developing country, we see lots of their this differences, but over the time he hypothesized that over the time we will see there is a decline in inequality in the economy. Fine. So this is related to inequality only. Next is, this is little bit technical and important as well. All the questions here are important, but this is like a very good question, combination of both technical aspect, the core economics, macroeconomics from NCERT +2, alongside that little bit application of the two things, GDP and JVA.
GVA full form?
Is gross value added by the different sectors of the economy, like primary, secondary, tertiary. What should be the answer? So GDP, remember, calculates this gross domestic product, calculates both the things, calculates national income without doubt. GDP calculates this, you can say, national income from the demand side, like expenditure side, that how much we as an individual, private expenditure, how much private expenditure is there in the economy, how much private investment is there in the economy, fine, how much government expenditure is there in the economy, and what is the position of net trade, that is net exports, import minus exports. So basically GDP calculates national income from the demand side, and GVA calculates, since I said this is a gross value added of the different sectors, primarily three sectors we have in the economy, primary, secondary, tertiary. So of course gross value added by the different sectors of the economy. So this basically talks about the supply side of the economy, fine. I think here it's not mentioned, so keep in mind that GDP is related to the demand side and GVA is related to the supply side, because it is talking about the production, that how much value being added from the different sectors. Fine. And moreover, there is a relation between both these identities, and the the relation is like GDP is equal to GVA plus taxes or the revenue earned by the government in the form of taxes minus subsidies paid by the government in a given financial year. Because tax is a kind of revenue, subsidy is kind of expenditure for the government, so that's why we subtract in order to see the net final GDP figure for the economy. Fine. So now read the question. Yes. Yes, what should be the answer? One and three correct. 3, why 3 correct? I just explained. This identity goes with the 3 only. Why 3?
Because the taxes ज़्यादा है, subsidy कम है, तो
GDP will be higher, no? Why? I mean, GVA won't be higher because we are subtracting something out of GVA and adding something to GVA in order to get the GDP figure according to the identity. So of course there would be net addition or subtraction in the amount of your GDP and not the GVA. Getting that? So that's why 3 is not correct. So 3 we are just left with 1 and 2. Fine. Yes. Which of the following is the subcomponent of GDP? So I was talking about the GDP components, especially from the expenditure side. So we have this GDP like C, that is consumption. We call it private final consumption expenditure. Then we have investment. We say it private, not private but rather gross GFCF, gross final this GFCF, gross fixed capital formation. I mean how much investment we are making into the economy. Fine. Fixed capital formation, how much capital we are forming. And then we have this is private related to individual like us. This is private related to the the private sector investment. Then again even the government makes expenditure. Fine. So government final consumption expenditure. Fine. And then finally we have the net exports. Now it depends on, here it will be plus or minus, depends on the actual value. If this is in positive, there will be positive. If this is negative, negative. What it means? It means either your export is greater than your import or your import is greater than your export. If this is the case, we will be having negative balance. If this is the case, we will be having positive balance, right? So what should be the answer? I think all? Yes, all. These are the core 4 components of your GDP. That is, GDP represents the demand side of an economy, and basically there are 3 methods to calculate GDP. This method is known as the expenditure method. Fine. So answer is all. Okay. Regarding traffic, now we will start with the environment component, ecology and environment. So what is traffic? What is traffic? What is traffic? So this is a joint initiative ended of your this joint initiative of this IUCN and WWF. It was formed in 1976. It is not governed by UNEP because itself is an autonomous kind of NGO. Fine. And it aims to ensure, yes, basically the core mandate of this or the duty of this is to regulate the trade in wildlife. Fine, monitoring the wildlife related trades.
Full form क्या है इसकी traffic की?
I think even I am not, I don't have this full form. Trade related, something like this. Trade related, I think, let's see.
Trade agreement for
It's basically deals with the wildlife trade. Fine, monitors the wildlife trade, illegal trade kind of things. Fine. So the answer should be 1 and 3 only. Correct, yeah. Next. Okay. Yeah, next. Same.
Yes, sir. 18 is 18.
Traffic. Okay. What should be the answer? I think it's easy. It's very easy to guess because see, in its question itself, you have the same line, isn't it? So sometimes we just need to go with the correctly matched. One thing. What should be the correct?
I think 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Yeah, 1 is correct. Buxa is only in Chhatarpur district of Madhya Pradesh. But so far as Balukhand is concerned, the full name of this is Balukhand Konark. I skipped this voluntarily because if there is, Konark, of course this would be easy, then it would be Odisha. And Bhagwan Mahavir is, this is a little bit difficult to guess. This is located in Goa,
Yes.
Western Ghat side. So only correct is 2 is wrong. Left this only. Okay, urban 889. What should be the correct answer? Oh shit. This should be the 3. Yeah, this is wrong. Not rather than, but vice versa. It should be the opposite. Yeah. So 3 is wrong. We have been asked correct. Then we left with just 1 and 2 and 1 only. So what should be the correct? It is a local and temporary phenomena, of course, related to that particular geography or environment. So of course both are correct. Forest fires. What should be the correct answer? Yes, be a little quick.
What do you think?
So let me explain. This is correct. It's November to June.
Only one is
India, most of the forest fires spread quickly from one treetop. We have categorization here, 3 types, right? First is ground, second is surface fires. Basically, we are categorizing ground, surface, and then we have crown fires. So basically, जो crown fires हैं, I mean top, then they spread from one treetop to another quickly. But the thing is, we have, such fires are rare in India, so that's why this not goes well with this most. Last 2 years, highest number of forest fires have been reported in, not in northeast, rather the top 3, 4, 5 states are MP, then we have Uttarakhand, then we have
Yes.
Odisha. Next is we have this Forest Rights Act. What should be the correct answer? Two only? Yes, what should be the correct? Hmm? This is very important. Remember, this is Forest Rights Act deals mostly with the tribal, population of India and tribal areas. So of course the ministry here is not MOEFCC, rather we have MOTA, that is Ministry of Tribal Affairs.
okay.
Fine. So that's why 1 is wrong, 2 and 3 are correct. So has been asked correct. So correct is 2 and 3. C. Fine. Okay. Kangar Ghati National Park. Yes. Yes. Where it is? Any guess? Not MP, but the answer is Chhattisgarh. This is important. Sometimes you might be asked questions for matching purpose, like 2, 3 names दे दिए and वहाँ पे आपको स्टेट जैसे हमें just previous question देखा ओडिशा एंड महाराष्ट्र वाला केस, उस तरह से आपको मैच करने को दिया जा सकता है. Might be asked to match. So in that case, it's become important that we know at least 2 out of 3. Otherwise, things become quite complex. Okay. Now science. Electrostatic precipitator can remove most of the. Yeah, read and try to answer. Please read first and then try to answer. See the sentences first, I mean the options, statements first, then I will be rolling over because might be options might not be visible here. Fine? Okay. So what should be the correct option here? Come on. Yes, any idea? Okay. 1 and 2. 2 is motor vehicles equipped with catalytic converter should use leaded petrol because lead in the petrol activates the catalyst. No. 2 is wrong, the rest is fine. The wrong in 2 is that there should be, leaded petrol, leaded petrol has already been, phased out from across the globe, even from India. So it's not leaded, rather unleaded. And because lead in the petrol activates, no, it's inactivates. Fine. rest is correct. So the answer would be your 1 and 3. Just 2 is wrong. Fine. Yes, next combination. Like we have debt trap from economics, here we have demographic trap. Yes. Correct answer should be 2 and 3. Why so? Because yeah, high fertility means increase in your birth rate, and here declining mortality means decrease in your death rate. Means ultimately your population is increasing. In fact, by explosion or explosive increase, we can see, like especially in developing countries like India, we have got the gold medal for being the most populated nation in the world. Fine. So of course this is the trend, this is the trap, because here the population keeps on rising. Fine. So that's why this is the answer should be 2 and 3 only. Yes, most important factor for the formation of smog. Easier one. What should be the answer? Falling temperature? No. Yeah, see, many air pollutants. Smog is basically it's a combination of smoke plus fog, and generally we see, yeah, and generally smog is yellowish kind of, or you can say blackish fog, basically formed mainly by the mixture of particulate matter, so the pollutants. Fine. Okay. So we have a system for naming the cyclones in Arabian Sea or Bay of Bengal. Even you can see in the, so what should be the answer? The maximum length of the name will be 5 letters. No? How many? Yeah, this is a factual information. It should be 8 rather. Yes. New and will not be repeated, of course. The proposed name should be neutral to religious, of course. Otherwise, it would be, conflict kind of. So answer is just 2, 1 and 3. I think another question from heat waves. Yes. That was urban heat island. This is heat wave. focus in such, I mean on such keywords. What should be the answer? The problem here is with the this time period is not 1 week, more than a week, it's just 2 or more than 2 days, equal to or more than 2 days. Fine. If the situation persists for 2 or more than 2 days, then we have, I mean, average historical average temperature, you can say more than that. Then of course we can have the situation where we have, you know, IMD. Yes, IMD declares it as heat waves. Correct answer is 1 and 3. Okay. Yeah, what should be the answer? What should be the answer?
One only. Carbon का तो इसी
One only?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, second is like it won't increase, you know, emission.
Carbon तो इसी
Yeah, it should rather decrease.
Carbon is the catalyst type.
Yeah, it should not increase, rather decrease. Fine, or decline. That's why 2 is wrong, 1 is correct. So correct is 1 only.
Carbon इसे थोड़ा और उसे कट चुकी carbon का तो बदल
Yeah. Okay. Lightning. Yeah, incorrect. This is very important to keep in mind. What should be the answer? Yeah,
Second.
that is doubtful because it is talking about the base, fine,
First वाला ठीक है.
and not the top. So that's why this is correct. Very good guess. I mean, this is a logical guess, rather we say. Where is the case? Above, no, it is talking about the base. Base is just around 1 to 2 kilometers. The top is, you know, this 10 to 12 kilometers. So that's why this is wrong. Correct is 1 only. I mean, not correct, incorrect. Is the question has been asked about the incorrect, not the correct. Had it been correct, then option 1 only. Okay. Correct.
मैंने बोला गल्फ ऑफ मन्नार कदा पार्क स्ट्रीट की गल्फ ऑफ मन्नार की तमिलनाडु से हो देखा गल्फ ऑफ मन्नार
Correct is your B only. Yeah, both Gulf of Mannar and this Park Strait. The total length of the coastline of mainland is somewhere around 15,200. Fine. And
total cost is
no, India's mainland, of course. And India's, where is this? India's mainland, and where is? I think we are missing. Yeah, where is the coastline? Yeah, coastline. Coastline is 7516.6 kilometer. So of course, yeah, both. As you said, both are in Tamil Nadu. I mean, just without Tamil. So of course this. So coastline is this much. Mainland is this much. Mainland is basically land area. Fine, total border or land area. So of course we have more of land area than of coastal areas. That's why this statement is wrong. Fine, because this is talking about the total length of coastline of India's mainland. This is more than the length of India's land frontier. Yes, this should not be the case. Rather, we can say, I mean, this is not the right to explain this. Rather, here is the case: India's land frontier. So this is this much. Fine. This is the coastline of India's mainland. This much. Yeah. Next is regarding national. Yes, Narega or Manrega, you can say. This is important, very important for exam point of view. Narega. Yes. What should be the answer? 2 and 3, 1 and 3. Okay. Yes, the only correct is 1. Only in rural areas. Only is not always, I mean, wrong, but majority of the times, especially in the UPSC changes trend, but in yeah, only unskilled and not skilled. Because if you are a little bit aware, then there was a debate going on that there should have Manrega provisions for urban areas as well, like Rajasthan has already launched for urban areas as well. So it was a demand, I mean, at the national level. It gives higher wages to women workers. No, there is nothing like that. There is a parity between the wages of both men and women. So far this is wrong. This is wrong. We are left with just correct one only. Okay. It is about POXO. First read the statements, then we will be yeah, what should be the answer? Let me. 1 and 3. Yeah, in such scenario there should be the legal duty, because this is something which is a heinous kind of crime. So yes, there should be the mandatory on the part of the people to inform. And if you won't inform, since this is illegal, you might be under prison for 6 months. So Article 15, of course, because Article 15 allows the state to make special provisions for women and children. Fine. So that's why this is related to special provision for the children. Fine. So that's why all the above is correct. Yes. All 3 are the correct. Okay. Interlinking of rivers. I think I have missed on the options here, probably. Yeah, I have skipped these codes, and let me provide you the codes. And codes are like skip the codes. Codes are like first is 1, 2, 3. We have 1 and 2. Then we have this 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we have 1 to 4. Yes. So what should be the answer for this question? 1 to 4. Why so? If you are interlinking a river, and there might be the tribal population residing in those areas, because most of the time they reside in the forest areas or the banks of the rivers. Yes, so the answer should be all of the above. Fine, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yes, all these 4 are correct. Fine. Next is related to Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, but this is urban. Don't confuse with the rural, this is urban. We have to separate this Yojana. What should be the correct answer? 1 and 2. 1 and 2. No, it's not 1 and 2. Yes, the correct option is. Why first is wrong?
So amount is 2.5 lakhs है.
Yeah, amount is
not
2.
sufficient.
It's not about sufficient or not sufficient. If government has fixed this, it is sufficient. It's not about a matter of sufficiency or not.
Okay.
It's about the matter of category under which this amount has been sanctioned. So we have 3 categories basically under this. Rather, we have 4 verticals under this urban, and number 1 is fine. We have 4 verticals and there are different conditions for each of the vertical. Fine. So we have first is in situ slum development, redevelopment rather. So we call it ISSR. In situ understand, in situ is on the side basically. जहाँ पे था वहीं पे, I mean tribal areas की जहाँ भी slum जहाँ था वहीं पे हमने redevelop करनी. Second is your credit linked subsidy scheme, CLSS, credit link subsidy scheme. Fine. Third is your AHP, that is affordable housing AHP programs or the projects, and last is your BLC, that is beneficiary led construction. Fine, or enhancement, BLC. And under BLC we have a provision for receiving a financial assistance of 2.5 lakh, fine, from the government to build house. But here the option is saying that under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana all the beneficiaries. So that's why it's wrong. Not all, but just one category. Yes. Fine. Beneficiary led individual house construction. So we are left with just it is indeed mandatory on the part of the state government to geotag. We have an app, web-based app called Bhuvan for this purpose. Bhuvan. Bhu, Jameen actually. There comes the name Bhuvan. So the correct is 2 and 3 only. Should not own, of course they should not own Pakka house. If they are already owning the Pakka house, then why the government is going to again make the different provision. So the answer is 2 and 3 only. Next is okay, food safety that is FSI, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, or Food Safety Standard Act. Yeah, it's about the act, not about FSI. I mean, not about the agency or authority. What should be the answer? 1 and 2. Codex and under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is food. Remember, it's talking about safety. So whenever talking about safety and standards, of course, why it should not come under Ministry of Health? Safety तो वही वो करेगी ना. I mean, it's not like a Food Safety and Standard Authority of India will come under, you can say, Ministry of Agriculture. No, not at all. It's no, because we are talking about safety. So safety concern is always undertaken by the Ministry of Health.
Given the 3 options.
Huh. So all the 3 is correct here. Fine. Okay. INSA-COG. INSA-COG is what? This has been basically established during the pandemic in order to, this and this is rather joint initiative of not just to this organization but rather 4-5. Fine. And INSA का full form is India SARS, SARS, SA is SARS, CO is COVID, G is Genomics, Consortium. India SARS COVID-2 Genomics Consortium. This is a full form. Consortium. Basically, this purpose was to make the gene editing basically. Fine. It's a joint initiative of, there are 4-5 Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Then we have DBT, that is Department of Biotech, which comes under Ministry of Science and Tech. Then we have the CSIR, that is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Then we have, of course, the ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. Fine. So basically the purpose was to make the whole genome sequencing. Fine. So the answer should be yeah, 2 only. First is wrong. I said there are 4-5 different bodies, so 2 only. Yeah, is correct. Yeah, 2 only. Next please. Okay. The data of this particular survey is very, very important. So this itself becomes important. Yeah, what should be the answer? Again, this is yeah, 1 and 3. It's not the only survey that the Ministry of Health and Welfare conducts basically. So the correct option is correct, that is 1 and 3. In 2, there are other surveys conducted by this ministry as well, like we have mental health survey, then we have global adult tobacco survey, GATS, then we have alcohol survey, then we have other like nutrition survey. So and there are many surveys conducted by this particular ministry. Okay. Places of Worship Act 1991. Yeah, what should be the answer? Even if you watch the news, then there was, this cutoff date is not correct here, let me tell you, because the cutoff date was the date of independence basically, the 15th August 1947. So this was quite in news during that time period whenever things were going on. Yeah, so what should be the answer? 2 only. Yeah, we are done with this, left with just 2 correct. Because I said the date is 15th August 1947, I mean the date of independence. Fine, and not the date of enforcement of constitution. Fine. Yes. हाँ जी पहले ही है, but I mean this government came up with this act in 1991 during the Rajiv Gandhi era. So in order to have because government assumed this that before independence things were not in our control, so we cannot regulate per se. But since after this independence, primary authority is the Parliament of India. So of course we can have the cut-off date since independence. Fine. That whatever was the status quo of those religious places, those should remain as it is. Fine. And that was that that has a different case. That is altogether different case. That's why it is on news, because this was going on in even Mathura and even this Kashi Vishwanath. There is again issue going on between masjid and so that's why this was in news. That case altogether a different provision. Okay. So this is again important because ashas were quite active during the pandemic. So that's why it becomes important. Please read and answer.
second is also contradictory. Along with fixed charges like government service, they get performance based payment. That is
Yeah,
not-
yeah, very good. I mean, they don't get fixed salary. That's why they're basically protesting and asking for that they should get the fixed salary. Fine. They just get the performance-based payments. Perfectly fine. That's why we are left with just 1 and 3. 2 is wrong. Fine. Perfect. I mean, this is how we can tackle with the questions. Yes. Regarding dark matter and dark energy, this is a little technical. Now we are talking about the universe, geography and all. So what do you think? What should they correct?
As you can see that all of the right. Such good.
Yeah, you can take the risk here. I mean, you can play with this, few of the options. Yeah, either you attempt this question or either you don't. If you are attempting, you need to take the risk. Simple. So this is how we can do. One easiest, the elimination technique is that we are saying that there are three. This 3 option is already there in the 3 options, so you can easily eliminate 3 to be I wouldn't say you can say a guess, not a logical guess to go with. But if we go with logical guess, even if we have little bit this knowledge about dark energy, then first and last statement seems to be contradictory. How? Dark energy is a mysterious force that drives the accelerating expansion. When something is making expansion, it means there should be the more in quantity.
Okay, definitely second.
Yeah, so again the order of this statement is wrong. This should come here. Dark energy should be 68%, matter should be 27%. Fine. So if we can eliminate logically or either even as a guess, purely guess, then of course we can eliminate third. We can go with 1 and 2 only. These are the questions where you need to take the risk. These are the make or break questions, because only difficult question makes the final impact on the cutoffs, because easy question could be solved by anybody, majority. Fine. So only thing wrong with this is this is wrong, and rest is fine. Okay. ISS. What should be the correct answer? Yeah, what should be the correct answer? Be a little quick. The only thing wrong here is the ISS is not in the polar orbits, but rather these are in the LEO, that is low Earth orbit. Most of the satellites we have in the LEO. This is nearer to the Earth's surface. Just LEO is somewhere around 900 to 1000 in the range of this much kilometers from the Earth. Fine. So most of the satellites you see, we have different sets of orbits like sun synchronous, like so. But mostly our satellites are space station. Yes, it serves some microgravity and space environment research. It's basically meant for research project. Fine. Microgravity, that is gravity as a smaller scale study, and it is jointly owned by various space agencies. Here the interesting fact is ISS is jointly owned by NASA and Roscosmos, that is Russian space agency, and then JAXA, that is Japan aeronautical this space agency. Then we have ESA, that is European Space Agency, and then we have CSA, that is Canadian Space Agency. So there are almost 5. Fine. now Russia considering their relations going on, on the downward spiral. So, talking about, pulling out of this collaboration in future. And China is already, China is even in advanced stage of developing own this ISIS. Fine, so what should be the answer? 2 and 3, I think this is correct, yeah, 2 and 3 only. Yeah, active API. Lots of issues going on during the pandemic, especially related to the API, shortage of API. Yes, what should be the answer? What should be the answer? No idea. So it is a part of any drug that, of course, pharmaceutical ingredient is part of it. It's like input for a drug. And India is the leading producer of API in the world.
Yes.
Is it so?
Yes, sir.
No. India is indeed pharmacy of world in generic medicines, not API. That's why, if you can recall, during the pandemic, even the SI, that is Serum Institute of India, CEO, used to urge to the West, this American, especially Donald Trump that time, and even the government of India used to make a request to the this USA to release APIs, because China's dependency and all already so because of supply chain constraint, that's why problems started with the supply chain issues, because the world was quite dependent, even today dependent on China, because China has a larger share, commands around 40% of the share in the world in terms of API supply. Fine. So India is not the leading producer, neither USA, it's China. So this is wrong. We are left with just China. Incorrect. Incorrect is 2 only. Fine. Next is next is about another virus called monkeypox. Regarding monkeypox, so please read it. Try to answer it. Yeah, they are there. Smallpox has been eradicated long way back in, I think, 1970s, 80s, and 80s especially, and monkeypox especially there. It's a recent origin. So monkeypox are there, not eradicated. So that's why it is wrong. Yeah. So correct is, we are done with this. Now we are left with 2. So of course both 1 and 2 are correct. Zoonosis, zoonotics basically, which is spread from the animals to the humans. Fine, the zoonotic disease, and the monkeypox causes symptoms similar to smallpox. Yeah, more or less they belong to the same category of virus, basically same family or same group. Okay. This is an interesting one. Basic science, general science. Please read and try to answer. What should be the correct answer? Yes.
All of the above you named, sir. I suspect on the second number.
Yeah, the second is incorrect. Humidity in the environment makes it conducive to regulate body temperature. No, the reverse is true. Correct is just 1 and 3. Remember, especially as humidity rises, sweat does not evaporate. Rather, for example, we can relate with the just like clothes taking long time to dry in humid conditions.
Definitely today are the days that there is no humidity.
So it makes it difficult to regulate the body temperature basically when the humidity is rising. And of course, dehydration can lead to make things vulnerable to heat stroke. Okay, next is related to the defense and this space. Following missions are intended for studying the possibility of life on Mars. Yeah, any idea?
So option B.
Why 2 is wrong?
2 is compared to the 4.
No, there can be the two different missions. What's wrong with that? There can be two missions, separate missions at a separate time period. So our answer is correct. The correct is 134 only. 2 is NASA's की जो InSight mission है, that is not related to studying the possibility of life on Earth. Rather, this is more or less making a study of the surface, you can say, of the Mars, like what Mars is made up of, fine, and how much heat basically seeps out of it. So it is more making a study of the nature of Mars, rather directly studying the or exploring the possibility of life on Mars. Fine, there's a minor difference between this perseverance and insights. What happened? Okay. Okay, next is black hole. Milky Way is our galaxy basically. What should be the answer? Remember, as the name suggests, it's a black hole, means light cannot pass. If light is passing, it cannot be black. Black is related to the darkness basically. Okay, light cannot pass out of that particular 2 or 3.
No.
All 3 are correct. Sagittarius is of course a supermassive black hole, recently discovered. Fine. Correct is this. All, yeah, all. Yeah. And what exactly is a black hole? Black hole is you can say it's a black. The name is black because light cannot get out of this. Fine, that's why it cannot be visible, rather it's invisible and can only be tracked with the help of special telescopes. Fine, because the light cannot get out of it because gravity inside a black hole is very strong, and that's why because a lot of matter being squeezed into a small space. Fine, so this is a all about black hole. Next is about donation. So which can be donated or which cannot be donated? Which can be donated, which cannot be donated? One, two, four, five, not 3. Yeah, even cornea can be donated. I mean, there are Yeah, the answer is all of the above. Even cornea can be donated. The thing is, different these body parts have different, different terms and conditions. Like something should be alive, some should be like if there is a death of a particular person, then there is a time period within 1 hour or in 2 hours. But all of this comes under, yeah. Though there are differences at the individual level, but yeah. Describe BRICS. When India is cheering, I think BRICS meeting this year. We'll have BRICS summit in India only. So what do you think?
The group of 5 friends based on
In BRICS itself, there are 5 member nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. 5-member body, and yes, these are the major emerging economies. Fine. Yes. World Food Program. Yeah, this was quite in news, especially with this context to this corona and related to food security. So, what should be the correct answer? Yeah, what should be the answer? C? 3 only? Yeah, the answer is 2 and 3 only. 1 is wrong because this is not administered by IFPRI. Rather, this is itself an assistance, assisted branch of sub-branch of United Nations itself, which is directly governed by the United Nations. Fine. This is a kind of food assistant branch of United Nations. Fine. So IFPR is a research this institute which has nothing to do directly with. I mean, this institute doesn't administer this WFP.
The second point, United Nations is funding it entirely, or it's not?
It's an entirely voluntary contribution. If any country wants to contribute, there is no limit on that, because it's a kind of welfare. I mean, world in order to save the humanity, making food contributions. Okay, one China policy.